Hi, my dear buddies. How are you doing? Punarvas Jayakumar here. Guys, I'm actually traveling, but then many of you had requested a video regarding the NDTV takeover by Adani Group. So I thought I'll just do a quick recording to make you understand the entire deal in around 10 to 15 minutes, so that it will be helpful to you as well from the company law point of view, and of course, you can link it to income tax as well and other issues as well. So let's go to it. Before we enter this Adani deal, let's rewind back around 22, 23 years ago to the year 2000s. So if you remember, NDTV was a very major player in the year 2000. So a little bit of backstory to that. During that time, since NDTV was doing really well, other players could not come, but there was a guy called Mr. Raghav Bell. So Mr. Raghav Bell, what did he want to do? He wanted to ensure, he was just in his early 30s, around like 31, 32. This was in the year 1993. So in the 7 years, of course, when he was trying to build something, NDTV had gone on to a different level. But nevertheless, Raghav started something called as TV18. You would have heard Network 18. It's called now. So he had a tie-up with CNBC, had a tie-up with Money Control. Things were going well for him, but really for him, what clicked was he got a very senior journalist. His name was Rajdeep Sardesai. He got him on board on CNN IBN, that is his channel. So this was a major competition to NDTV. As you know, CNN, IBN, and NDTV during those days. I mean, now there are loads of channels, but during those days there were only two, big good ones: CNBC, this CNN, IBN, sorry, and NDTV. So this was probably in the year 2007, right? So TV18, what did they do? They took over a company called as Infomedia India Limited from ICICI Ventures. This was in the year 2007. And they also, unfortunately, after they took this over, only their channel, that is TV18 network, was doing pretty well. But because of certain bad investments, there was one thing called Stargaze Entertainment, because during in 2007 the multiplex culture had started, if you remember. PVR, etc. had come. So even this guy wanted to do something, so he invested in a multiplex concept, which had a loss of around 3.2 crore in 2007. And he also opened a software management company called Web18 Software, which fetched him a loss of 92.3 crore. Crazy. And then Newswire 18 was one more, which had a 34.6 crore loss. And Home Shop 18. Do you remember these ads that used to come midnight, 12, 1 o'clock, full, almost like 3 to 4 hours? Home Shop, they're selling various stuffs, which would help us in, maintaining the home decor, so to speak, and many other useful things that were there in Home Shop 18. 49.3 crore loss, because you would always wonder that time Amazon, etc. was not there. How come I'm getting this at such a dirt cheap rate? Because Home Shop 18 was selling it at a loss. There also there was a loss. So guys, this was 2007. If you remember, in 2008, the subprime mortgage crisis happened. Everything is linked. I'm going to link everything so that you'll understand. The subprime mortgage crisis happened in the US, where they used to give loans to homeless people, and using those loans, they converted into marketable securities. And then eventually all went flat because the homeowners could not pay their money, and the subprime mortgage crisis had happened, and Lehman Brothers, etc., had gone for bankruptcy. You remember that, right? You would have seen that in SFM, and in law also. I've discussed those concepts. Now, because of that, banks were completely against giving loans to any companies. Now, this company wanted loan. The only profitable venture for Mr. Raghav's entire thing, conglomerate, so to speak, was only one, that is the media house, TV18. All other things were undergoing a loss. So in the year around 2008 to 11, he struggled, and the consolidated debt, my dear friends, was 1,400 crores. Since I'm traveling, pardon my handwriting, I just did some research and jotted down all the important things, and connected everything into one, so that it will be easy for you. Now, in 2011, consolidated debt was 1,400 crore. And guys, I can link it to my other video as to why, BJP won the election. It's there on my YouTube channel. You can check it out. Maybe in the description, I'll try to add the link there so that you can go to that video also. There I have linked, section 135, that is the CSR, and also section 192, political contributions. One of the main reasons where Companies Act 2014 came into force was because of the political contribution section 192 and also CSR 135. I've explained that how, at that point of time when we needed a major overhaul in the government, uh, Reliance slowly started to invest in, obviously, people who they think that who they thought that in the future they would help them immensely. So of course during that time in 2011-12, the talks were going that Congress government would go and then the BJP government would come in, and entire uh, advertisement campaign on up ki bar Modi Sarkar was slowly coming, leading up to the elections in 2014, right? So everything is linked, my dear friends. So please understand from a very what do you say perspective, not just as a CA student but also as an Indian, right? We should know all these things. And this is a very objective analysis, nothing against anybody, nothing for anybody, right? It's not a propaganda campaign. So please, with an open mind, understand how it is, right? So 135 and 192, those sections were there. You can check out that video. I had predicted long time back at how BJP would win 2014 and again 2000, the next election into the 2019 as well. Anyway, so there was a consolidated debt of around 1,400 crore, and the only one of the greatest pillars of a democracy is also your media. So if I can control the media, I can control the narrative, right? So Ambani thought about it, and when Raghav went to Ambani and said, "Boss, none of the banks are giving me money because 3 years ago the mortgage crisis happened. So please help me." Reached out to Motabai. So Motabai, that is Ambani, in 2012, right? He created a company through RIL. Of course, he created a company called Independent Media Trust. Created a company called Independent Media Trust, and Independent Media Trust pumped in 4,000 crore of debentures. Think about it, guys. 4,000 crore. This is in the year 2012, and he invested in all the group companies of TV18, right? So this was what, convertible to equity shares in 10 years. So in the year 2012, 2012 to 2022, you could convert it to what, equity shares, those debentures, 4,000 crore worth. Now also Reliance Industries, because of this, they also had a stake of 2,100 crore in ETV. ETV channel used to be there. So ETV, they had a stake, 2,100 crore. Now, Raghav Bal wanted to buy Reliance Industry Limited stake in ETV, right? So 2,100 crore stake he wanted to buy again. Now, the problem is he has taken money 4,000 crore from Reliance, and now he wants to buy Reliance's share also in ETV, so to expand his entire business into even South India and all those things. Now, he wanted to buy the share, he didn't have money. So what he did, he issued right shares. He issued right shares, there was a right issue. So Bal raised 2,000, very interesting. Bal raised 2,200 crore from Reliance itself. Apart from the 4,000, he raised 2,200 crore from Reliance itself, and he bought Reliance's stake in ETV. Amazing. So basically, I took money from Reliance and again paid him back. So he raised 2,200 crore from Reliance Industries Limited and used the same money to buy Reliance Industry Limited share from ETV. So as of today, 4,000 crore is there. But apart from the 2,200 crore, I've taken money from Reliance and again used that money to buy Reliance's stake in ETV. Got this? Fine. But nevertheless, because of this, that 4,000 crore still was there. So Reliance Industries Limited's indirect control is intact and it's actually increasing because now they know that these guys need money and I can convert. 2014, my dear friends, was election year. And that time there was one party that suddenly was born, and that was the Aam Aadmi Party. And there was this in this entire Maidan in Delhi. There was all this Anna Hazare and all these people. Was the main agenda was anti-corruption and something against crony capitalism. So I've explained what is crony capitalism in IBC as well, right? Basically, people giving loan, bankers giving loan to big corporates, whereas ignoring people like us. Now, there was a lot of talk against, Ambani. So people, especially there was a hate campaign or whatever you call it, boycott Ambani, all that was happening in 2014. Now the boycott culture has increased here in India, right? So this is what was happening that time. So Ambani got furious, right? He's going to all media houses and telling, why are you printing everything against me? Why don't you have an objective view? What is this nonsense? So at that time, CNN, IBN, this guy was there, Rajdeep Sardesai. So Motabhai calls up Rajdeep Sardesai and said, "Hey, what is this? What is happening? Why are you publishing everything? Why are you going live and talking against me? Please note that I control you indirectly, 4,000 crore debentures." So Rajdeep Sardesai said, "Boss, I'm doing my job. So people are speaking against you. Now I have to report. So I can't do anything about it. That's it." So the only way to muzzle, put a muzzle on the media is obviously if you own the media, right? So what happened in 2014 election year? You know that all political parties only indirectly or directly own, or big corporates own these media houses. So my dear friends, in 2014, March 2014, as I told you, Motabhai spoke to Sardesai because there was a lot of talk about the gas pricing and the Krishna Godavari basin, which they had bought completely to extract gas. So he did not want any negative publicity on the gas pricing. So 2012, he had given 4,000 crore shares, which was convertible into equity shares in 10 years. In 2 years only, that is in 2014, he exercised that option, and 4,000 crore worth of debentures were converted into shares, effectively giving Reliance Industries almost 75% control over TV18. So in the year 2014, Raghav Bell and the CEO, the CFO, all the top management, KMP, resigned from this TV18, and it was completely now controlled. Entire network, CNN, IBN, CNBC, so many things are there. Your Book My Show also to some extent. Everything was now controlled by Reliance Industries Limited. Now, why am I telling this? There's a very interesting thing now. Let's come back. So in 2014, this was happening. And remember, in 2011, all this happened. Now, why did Motabhai, this from analysis, I've got to understand this. Why did Motabhai invest in, what do you say, Network 18? Because he wanted to control two important media houses in our country, Network 18 and NDTV. So here I spoke about his control over Network 18. What about his control over NDTV? This happened way before. Sorry guys, there was some technical problem. Yeah, as I was saying, it happened way before in 2009 itself, right? So in 2009 itself, the seeds were sown by Ambani, brilliant man, to take over not only NDTV but also Network 18, because he knew the subprime mortgage crisis, Network 18 is not doing well. They'll come to me again, so it will take 2-3 years. But before that, he had already sown the seeds for what? Taking over NDTV. So let me tell you that now. So Reliance Industries Limited. So listen to this very carefully, my dear friends. Reliance Industries Limited. This is in the year 2009, way before I gave you the history. It's like Bahubali, the beginning and conclusion. I'm merging both now. So Reliance Industries Limited obviously owned a company, still owns a company called Reliance Industrial Investments and Holdings Limited. Okay. Now Reliance Industrial Investments and Holdings Limited has a 100% subsidiary, and that 100% subsidiary is called as Shinano Retail Private Limited. Okay, Shinano Retail Private Limited. And one more 100% subsidiary here. So 100% subsidiary is this. Let me just, 100% subsidiary is this Shinano Retail Private Limited. And one more 100% subsidiary is what? Teesta Retail Private Limited. So one is Shinano and one is Teesta. So like that, two subsidiary companies were there. Reliance Industrial Investments and Holdings Limited had given a 400 crore plus unsecured loan to Shinano Retail Private Limited. This is under Section 186. It had given loan, intercorporate loans and advances. Now, these two companies, Shinano Retail Private Limited and Teesta Retail Private Limited, both 100% subsidiaries of Reliance Industrial Investments and Holdings, which eventually is nothing but the controlling, which is controlled by RIL. Now, these two companies, Shinano and Teesta Retail Private Limited, jointly held control, that is more than 50%, honestly, in Vishwa Pradhan Commercial. It's not just associate, it's not more than 20. It's 2 clause 87 of Companies Act, complete, subsidiary. Not 100% subsidiary, but of course, more than 50% of the total voting power. So this Shinano Retail Private Limited and Teesta Retail Private Limited controlled which company? Vishwa Pradhan Commercial Private Limited. Vishwa Pradhan Commercial Private Limited. This is an important company, keep it in mind. So what happened now? Quick rewind. RIL controls Reliance Industrial Investments. Reliance Industrial Investments has two companies. One is Shinano Retail Private Limited and Teesta Retail Private Limited. Reliance Industrial Investments and Holdings gives an unsecured loan to what? Shinano Retail Private Limited, which is a 100% subsidiary. And Shinano Retail Private Limited now, my dear friends, has given what? Shinano Retail Private Limited has now given the same loan, 400 plus crore unsecured loan, to which company? Vishwa Pradhan Commercial Private Limited. Vishwa Pradhan Commercial Private Limited. Now, interesting. Vishwa Pradhan Commercial Private Limited in turn gives a 403 crore loan. 403 crore loan to Radhika Roy, Pranoy Roy. These are the founders of NDTV, and Pranoy Roy is a chartered accountant. Radhika Roy, Pranoy Roy. So RRPRPL it is called. Radhika Roy, Pranoy Roy Private Limited. So the loan first came from Reliance to Shinano, Shinano to Vishwa Pradhan to Radhika Roy. And then again that was given obviously to NDTV. And Radhika Roy, RRPRPL, controls 29% stake. 29% stake in NDTV. Okay, 29% stake. Radhika Roy and Pranoy Roy together hold, personally, they hold around 32%. 32%. Okay. But this company, that is RRPRPL, controls 29% stake in NDTV. Now, this is an important structure. Important structure. Apart from that, what happened was, if you see in the year 2012, this is a different story. In the year 2012, Reliance Industries also started, if you remember, Reliance Jio Infocom Limited. And there was a director called Mahendra Nahata. This guy owned three companies. One was Next Wave Televentures. One more is Sky Blue, Buildwell Private Limited, and Eminent Networks. Eminent Networks, three companies he owned. This one, Vishwa Pradhan Commercial Private Limited, the ownership shifted to what? Shifted to Mahendra Nahata, who actually owned these companies, right? So Vishwa Pradhan Commercial Private Limited, which was all control was shifted to Next Wave Televentures, Sky Blue, Buildwell, and Eminent Networks. Now, Eminent Networks, my dear friends, Eminent Networks, what happened? They took over the entire loan given to Shinano. Who? Because Eminent Networks, Next Wave Televentures, and Sky Blue Buildwell, they now controlled which company? Vishwa Pradhan. The ownership was shifted to this thing. Now, the beauty of the story is Mahendra Nahata was again connected to Reliance, if you think about it. So basically, control was with RIL itself. So Vishwa Pradhan, which was indirectly, if you see, subsidiary of a subsidiary of a subsidiary, if you think about it, and also the control in terms of the loan was given. So if you remember in 2 clause 87, more than half of the total voting power or controlling the composition of the board of directors. How can I control the composition of board of directors? Only through these loan arrangements. I'll give you a loan and say, boss, in the loan agreement, I want to appoint 6 out of 10 directors in your company. So now that Vishwa Pradhan Commercial Private Limited, that is shifted to what? Mahendra Nahata, who is in fact nothing but director in Reliance Jio Infocom. So companies is now controlled, indirectly controlled by whom? Mahendra Nahata, who in fact has other companies called Next Wave, Sky Blue, Buildwell, and all that, Eminent Networks. Now, this Eminent Networks in 2012, they said, boss, Vishwa Pradhan, you owe 400 crore to Shinano, because Shinano has given you unsecured loan of 400 crore. You owe them, right? So Eminent Networks invested 50 crore in Vishwa Pradhan and told them, please pay back the loan. Vishwa Pradhan paid 50 crore to Shinano Private Limited. Now something amazing happens. Correct? Shinano Private Limited's receivable is 400 crore. 400 plus crore. They take 50 crore from Vishwa Pradhan, which was actually given by whom? Eminent Networks. And remaining 350 crore write-off. So I've just checked the stuff also on the MCA. If you see the accounts of Shinano Private Limited, write-off of 350 crore loan. Crazy, right? And these guys also have written it off in the books completely. The liability gone. Only 50 crore paid and deemed to be fully paid. Correct? Now, what about the loan given to this? Now, this is a very, very important clause. Vishwa Pradhan had actually given that loan to Radhika Roy, Prannoy Roy. And one deadly term is there in that. The terms and conditions, if you see one deadly term, which says that Vishwa Pradhan Commercial Private Limited can convert this 403 crore worth of loan to 99.99% stake in Radhika Roy, Prannoy Roy Private Limited. Deadly. So basically, they can completely take over by conversion of this loan into equity shares. And mind you, they said at any point of time during the tenure of the loan, one more deadly sentence, any point of time during the tenure of the loan. Now the story is entire thing is controlled. All this thing happened in 2009 to 2012. So imagine the brilliance of, you know, uh, Mukesh Ambani. So in 2009, 2012, he controlled NDTV also. And in 2011, he controlled TV18 also. Basically, two biggest media houses in his pocket. Now enter Gautam Adani. Adani is now deemed to be close to the Prime Minister and the entire, of course, party. And he is he's the richest man in India and one of the richest in the world as well. So now it's a power game. No, he wants to take control of NDTV, which is, if you see all the channels, few channels are critical of the current government, and one of the channels is NDTV, which is slightly critical of the government. So ultimately, if a person close to the government buys, things can be managed even for that company also. It's all quid pro quo. As I told you, we can watch that video of how the political parties sway the entire votes according to, and how they change the law also, right? Now what happened? Now the climax. You got this point, right? Vishwa Pradhan Commercial Private Limited has given a 403 crore loan. In that loan, it says, I can convert it to 99.99% stake in Radhika Roy, Prannoy Roy Private Limited. Now the beauty, my dear friends. Adani Enterprises, which has 100% stake in a company called AMG Media Networks, has now acquired 100% stake in Vishwa Pradhan. How did they acquire 100% stake in Vishwa Pradhan? Obviously, they bought all these companies, Next Wave Televentures, Sky Blue, Buildwell. Through that, they have now controlled Vishwa Pradhan Commercial Private Limited under the nose, thereby immediately converting this 403 crore unsecured loan into 99.99% stake in Radhika Roy Prannoy Roy Limited, and thereby controlling NDTV 29%. Master stroke. Not just that, LTS Investment, which has invested a lot in Adani, also has 9.75% stake, which means obviously Adani already has almost around 40% stake here. Apart from that, there are other 4 shareholders who are in Adani's pocket, 7.11%, which he is going to buy very soon, thereby making his control 46%. And the Roys, Prannoy Roy and Radhika Roy, in their individual capacity, have around 32% stake in NDTV. Because of all this, as per the SEBI takeover regulations, it makes it eligible for a 25% open offer to the public. And since NDTV is listed, Adani has made an open offer to the public, in which this 25% overall, in this 7% will be also taken. 18 to 20% also will be taken here from other people. Whoever wants to sell, they can sell, thereby making Adani's share easily between 60 to 67%, virtually taking the full control of NDTV, whereas the last shareholders are Royce. Eventually, they will also sell and close it. So what under Ambani's nose, which was even actually by this entire company was owned by Ambani. Think about it. Through all these connections, by just tweaking and buying these 2 companies, he has taken this beautiful control of Vishwa Pradhan and converting this stupid term which was there in that term loan. Who will write these terms? 99.99%. And indirectly is, of course, through this controlled Radhika Roy, Prannoy Roy Private Limited, and then taken 29% stake. Beautiful. Now the 2 media houses will be controlled, one by Adani and one by Reliance. This was the analysis, my dear friends. It, of course, took me couple of hours to understand what had happened, a lot of research. So guys, I make these videos for you so that you could link it to law. You can see to clause 87, section 186, and all these things you can link. You can link it to your income tax as well, merger and amalgamation, what will happen, and your takeover, SEBI takeover regulations, and merger and amalgamation in Companies Act, so that you obviously share it with your friends. And please comment here below the video what do you feel, not about the video, about how this deal, how the things happen. And see the description also, other videos, check it out. So I make these videos for you so that you can subscribe to the channel, you can like my videos, share it with people, and increase the knowledge. And just we are all here to learn. So please do that, my dear friends. So it's almost like what's the time now? It's 2 a.m. today on 25th August morning. So I thought I'll do this, and this morning itself from 9 or 10 a.m. it will be uploaded. So you'll be seeing it at around 10ish in the morning of 25th August. I do all these things for you only, guys, my dear friends, because knowledge is power, as I told you, and I want you to have that power, and I want you to share this knowledge with others. Please like, subscribe, share it with people, and ask your friends also to subscribe to my channel, so that I will be releasing such videos for the benefit of all. So on that note, my dear friends, I'm signing off. I don't know, network is a little weak here since I'm on holiday. I'm in the middle of a forest now, but nevertheless I thought I'll do this video for you. Hope that you enjoyed. Take care, my dear friends. This is the entire deal. So I had to spend a lot of time. It was interesting, very nice, even a good learning for me as well. So thank you so much, my dear friends. Take care. Love you all. Cheers. Take care.